Morning, folks. So, did you guys and gals hear about what Brian Cashman said about Giancarlo Stanton? Let's get into that one right now. Hope you're having a great week, folks. As always, appreciate you as all. Now, I got two little pieces of news before we talk about Cashman and Stanton. Okay, last night was the deadline to add players to the to the 40-man roster to protect them from the Rule 5 draft, and the Yankees added two of them. Number one is catcher Augustin Ramirez. Okay, and he's showing enough. He's got a 271 batting average, 18 home runs, 69 ribbies, 12 stolen bases, and 819 OPS in 2023. So there's no surprise that he went from low A through high A all the way up to double A in the same season. He's shown that he's solid. And I'm not surprised that they added him. They probably should have. So, and the other guy is Clayton Beeter, one of the Yankees' more highly touted pitching prospects. He was 9-7 this past year in 27 games, 3.62 ERA, 131 innings pitched with 165 strikeouts and a WHIP of 1.37. This is the guy that the Yankees acquired in the Joey Gallo trade, the Dodgers. So, again, one of the many highly regarded Yankees pitching prospects. So, now the next up tonight is the Cy Young Award announcement, hoping to celebrate Garrett Cole. And then in a couple of days, we have the deadline for non-tendering. So there's going to be a lot more Yankees news coming in the next couple of days. So make sure that you're subscribed to this channel if you haven't done that yet. That way you don't miss any of it. And hit the notification as well. That way, when the news comes in, you're at the front of the line to get it. Okay? I thank you so much for both. It means the world. Now, let's get into it, this stuff, with Cashman. And he's had a lot of testy interactions recently with reporters. And again, we just don't know a lot of the details behind it. So there's speculation going everywhere, right? And whether it be reporters, content creators, fans, whatever it might be. And this is one of the issues, I think, where a lot of people don't know what they're talking about, and they just start to create this stuff, and then it's not necessarily the truth. So I'm not surprised in a way that Cashman's speaking up. But that being said, let's get into this. So what he said, he's trying to limit, and this is from Ken Rosenthal's Twitter. He's trying to limit Stanton's injuries. Okay, he's going to wind up getting hurt again, more likely than not, because it seems to be part of his game. Okay, so on one side, I'm like, all right, dude, please stop talking. Okay, like he had some testy. He was known for throwing. He was attacked for throwing F-bombs last week in his interactions with a couple of reporters, including General Sugar, even though the F-bombs were censored. So, but I don't really find that to be, when you have other content creators who use F-bombs regularly on their channel without any restrictions, without any censoring, not really in the place to criticize Cashman for that. So, but that being said, could he be more smooth in his delivery? Yes. That's why I'm not surprised. I mean, I am surprised that they don't use Jason Zilla more. Have a comms person, comms male or female, to deliver the message, because who can deliver it in a smoother fashion than Cashman or Hal, right? But that being said, too, this is the reality that comes with the Yankees, playing in New York. You're in a hornet's nest. You're going to deal with aggressive media. You're going to deal with aggressive fans. This is just the way that it is. Okay, and if Cashman throwing a couple F-bombs here and there is the worst that you're going to deal with, then you're okay. You're going to get a lot worse from fans and some other folks. So it's not that bad. But yes, Cashman could be a little bit smoother in his delivery, and I think we can all acknowledge that. But that being said, this is Joel Wolf's comments, who's Giancarlo Stanton's agent, who also happens to be the agent for Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Kodai Senga, the runner-up in Rookie of the Year for the Mets. He said, I read the context of the entire interview. I think it's a good reminder of all free agents considering signing in New York, both foreign and domestic, that to play for this team, you've got to be made of Teflon, both mentally and physically, because you can never let your guard down, even in the offseason. So again, also speaking the truth. They're both speaking the truth, Cashman and Joel Wolf. But he's, I think, in defense of Stanton. And I would have appreciated if, Cashman said something like, he would have been better off saying, well, you know what? Yes, Giancarlo Stanton has been getting hurt. And he's been, he's had an injury bug for quite a while. We're going to do everything we can to address strength and conditioning and our flexibility and our range of motion people, and we'll hire a Bikram yoga specialist to work on his mobility and work on make sure we upgrade as much as we possibly can in the strength and conditioning and the training and the medical staff to make sure we can keep him on the field or in the batter's box as often as possible because he's a valued member of this franchise. Something like that. Obviously, he would wordsmith it differently, but like it. In one sense, I could also see the other perspective too, where Stanton might be thinking, and I don't know, I can't speak for him, but maybe this is why Cameron Maybin said what he said, that he might not want to finish his career here. Maybe he thinks Cashman's taking subtle shots at him. I don't know. That's kind of the impression that's being left. But again, I haven't heard this from Stanton himself. This was Stanton's agent speaking. But there is some truth to this, that you got to have thick skin playing in New York. You got to have no matter what. But Stanton, and to his credit, okay, has answered all the tough questions. He stood in front of all this stuff through injury, and he's had 5 seasons missing at least 20 games, 3 of which he missed more than 50 games with the Yankees. Okay, so, there is truth to what Cashman said. There is truth to what Wolf said. And Cashman also, not Cashman, Stanton also acknowledged this himself. So, and rightfully so. And he's answered questions. He stood up in front of them. He's taken ownership of this. He's acted and answered it like a boss, with class, with maturity, right? And the fact is, we're lucky to have a guy like him here. Carries himself like an adult. Okay, can't say the same for everybody. But he carries himself like an adult. So, and but it would be nice for Cashman to have his back, just like we know Boone does. Boone has his players back. That's one reason why a lot of players stood up for him. Okay, despite what a lot of people didn't want to hear, but they did. This is where they know more than we do. So, and that's the reality of it. So, I think that's the main reason why Boone's back. And likely Cashman too. He's the GM. He's here until they say he's not here. So, that's just the reality that we deal in. But speaking the semblance of truth, if it's something like that, because we're hearing also from a lot of fans and people on social media and stuff that this is like very likely going to scare people like Yamamoto away. Well, the fact is, Yamamoto's a grown man. If something like this scares him away, then maybe he's not made to play in New York. Maybe he can't handle this. Okay, but I'm also thinking, well, this guy, you know what? This agent works for the player. It's not the other way around. Okay, and if he's going to step in and interfere with negotiations, like he said, he wants to come to a big market. Yankees are one of the teams. So if he's going to interfere with any negotiations with the Yankees and them, then he can be fired. Okay, he has no place to do that. This is why a lot of folks want Scott Boras to represent him, because he does it. He's the best in the game for a reason. He's poised. He acts like an adult. He controls the situation like a boss every single time. Okay, and Teflon might need to be included in the agent's suit as well. So, with that said, I think if Yamamoto can't handle it, he's going to get spooked out by that. Then maybe he doesn't. Maybe New York is not meant for him. But again, maybe Cashman is saying, I can't speak for Cashman either. Maybe Cashman's saying, I'd rather get this out in the open now, so that we can get this ahead of time, and I'd rather people know ahead in advance before we drop $200 million on this guy, right? Because that's likely what he's going to get or cost. So even though we're hearing greater numbers coming from people talking about the Mets, like Uncle Steve Cohen's going to offer him $300 million. He's never thrown a pitch in the major leagues. If he does, more power to him. If he goes there, more power to him. Okay? But this is the type of stuff. Sometimes these are the types of questions that people don't want to ask, or get the answers that they don't want to hear. But it is what it is. That's the reality of playing in New York and coaching in New York and managing in New York and all this stuff. So Yamamoto, it's right to give Yamamoto the heads up, or anybody the heads up before they come here. Okay, because playing in Japan is not the same as playing in New York. Okay, Deki Matsui handled it like a champ. Tanaka handled it like a champ. And I'm confident that Yamamoto would do the same thing. But maybe Cashman's trying to cover his own butt, because he's on the losing side of both situations here. Both sides. What do I mean by that? Well, on one side, you have fans and creators saying, he's if he doesn't get this guy, he's not serious. He's a bum, right? And then if he does get him, And on the other side, he turns out to not be as great as people thought he was. He's going to say, oh, this guy's a bust. He's the worst GM ever. So he's on the losing side regardless. Maybe he's trying to give himself some cover. Maybe he doesn't. He's sick of being, attacked by people publicly. Okay, reporters and everybody else doubting. Or maybe he's also been, eunuched a little bit, or stripped of a little bit of power by Hal, and he's pissed off about that. We just don't know. That's why I don't think it's intelligent to speculate about it. We haven't heard the words from his mouth. We haven't heard the words from Stanton's mouth. So I'm going to step back and not assume judgment of, or hail any praise or criticism and so on and so forth until we get the full story. But that's what came out of Cashman's mouth. Okay. He told the truth about Stanton. Unfortunately, it rubbed some people the wrong way. I get it, but it's the reality. And I think trying to include some realism in there maybe can light a fire under some people's butts. But the fact is, we need Stanton to stay healthy. As long as he's here, we need him to stay healthy, and he's a valuable member of the team. And I do think Yamamoto's adult enough to not let something like this is just chatter, blown way out of proportion by people, fans, and people on social media and everything else, for no reason. They're looking for reasons to attack Cashman and blame Cashman for stuff? Probably. That's what they are doing, and that's what they're doing. They can trash him all they want. So, and I'm not by any means defending Cashman here. I'm giving you both sides of this and I'm not going to assume that you're on either side, but it's important to know this stuff so that you can, again, like I've always said, formulate your own opinions on stuff, your own opinions without relying on other people's opinions to create your own. So, but either way, you let me know what you think. Load up the comments. Let's have a conversation about this. But again, and I think I'm going to go live this weekend about it as well, so that other few folks can have their voices heard. And it's always important to have your voices heard. And again, I just ask people to be open-minded and be realistic. And at the very least, let's be accurate when we're talking what we're talking about. At the very least. Have a great day, gang. If anything else comes out, you're going to get it. Talk to y'all next time.